Well, day 2 of practice is winding down here for stop number 7 of the FLW Tour on Lake St. Clair, which is presented by Mercury. We got Bill McDonald joining us today. Bill, last time we had a tour event here, it was 2012, it was August. You caught a bunch of smallmouths, you caught a bunch of big smallmouths.
It was a fun tournament.
Well, I talked about this yesterday with some people that pre-practice, but even, I mean, going back a few years, I just want you to compare and contrast a little bit how St. Clair now versus the last time we had a tour event out here.
I think the quality of fish are probably a little better. That good or better anyway.
Okay.
I mean, but back then the fish were clumped up good. They're not quite there yet.
A little more random right now.
It's pretty random right now.
Now, is that just mostly due to the time of the year we're here?
Yeah, time of year.
Okay.
I come up here every year in August and fish, and I love it that time of year. The weather's stable. It's not quite as windy, but those fish, they just get all clumped up good.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's bunches of them together, so you can sit in one area and catch quite a few fish, but it don't quite seem to be that way right now.
So I know in the past, or even from other tournaments out here, that you'll see guys get in kind of like, you know, there'll be a pot of fish in a pretty good size area and they'll drift around. That's kind of what happened in 12.
Sure.
Will it be the same way this time, or will we see more guys utilizing more of the lake, if that makes sense, running around a little more?
What I'm seeing out there, I mean, there's a few groups of people, but then there's a lot of isolated spots.
There are.
And like I said, it's one here, one here. You know, it's not like pull up and catch 4 or 5 fish. And it's the same with the fishermen. I mean, you'll see 1 or 2 or 3 here, and you'll go to certain areas and you might see 15 or 20 clustered up.
Okay.
But for the most part, it seems like it's going to fish pretty big right now.
All right. Well, we're 2 days in. Obviously, we're here at Metro Park on St. Clair. Have you looked at St. Clair the last 2 days? Is that your plan, to look at it every day?
I'm going to look at St. Clair every day.
Okay. Do you think we'll see some guys check in the area at all? You think we'll see guys running down there during the tournament?
Yeah, there's going to be a few that's going to make that run without a doubt. And with the weather right now, I mean, it's not making it real easy to do, but I think there's still a few guys that's making that run to Erie and going to roll the dice there.
What about either the St. Clair River or the Detroit River? Do you think we'll see some guys?
They'll both come into play big time.
Okay. Whether it's dudes running in there to catch, you know, 1 or 2 fish every day, or do you think we'll see guys that kind of live and die by the rivers?
There's going to be guys that live and die in the river without a doubt.
All right. The one thing I didn't really talk about yesterday that I feel like I should ask you is I kind of want your thoughts on maybe some fantasy fishing picks for the people watching this. Give me like 3 guys you think people should have on their team.
Scott Dobson.
Well,
I mean, that's a no-brainer without a doubt. And you know, there's some good guys that fish up here all the time. You know, Mark Rose is Angler of the Year, or running for Angler of the Year.
He's had some good finishes up here
He's
before.
had some good finishes. You can't count him out. You know, you got, oh shoot, you got, I'm brain dead right now.
There's a lot of smallmouth hammers. Yeah. You got the Johnstons.
You got the Johnstons. You've got Gussie that's up here.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, he's a hammer when it comes to smallmouth. You got Nixon. You can't never rule him out. He's won twice here.
The guy's really good at dragging stuff, which happens to catch bass really well.
He's very good at dragging stuff. You got Scott Suggs. He's another dragger that you know, anytime you can just drift and drag, he's going to be in contention.
All right. Well, with kind of the preliminary report of, you know, there's some good quality fish. It's a little more random. I'm going to ask you about some weights. What do you think we're going to need for like a top 30 cut this week?
Top 30 cut? I think you're going to probably need 18 plus a day.
Okay. What do you think we'll see for that 10 cut to get on the final day?
Top 10? It's probably going to be in that 60-pound mark, you know, somewhere right around in there, you know, 58 to 60 pounds to make that top 10 cut.
I like it. How about a winning weight? You want to throw one out?
A winning weight? I'm going to say probably at 82 to 83 pounds.
Ooh, that's a lot of smallmouths.
That's a lot of smallmouths. You know, we did that. Larry did that when we was here in August.
For sure.
So, you know, 78 to 82. Somebody's going to have that, maybe a little bit more.
Ooh,
I mean, they had, what, the Monster Quest tournament Saturday. Took 24 pounds to win that deal. I mean, it's a team deal, but still, I mean,
that caliber is easily in here. 24, 25 pounds is very doable.
It's very doable.
All right. Well, Bill, I like it. I'm going to let you get rolling. I guess with that, hopefully you can replicate your success. I know you love catching them smallmouths, and I don't doubt you're going to do it this week.
It ain't going to be due to lack of effort. I'm going to go swing for it.
Well, we're keeping things rolling along here amidst all the mayflies that are flying around. We got Matt Stefan, noted smallmouth hammer. You got some Great Lakes experience. I like that. That's why we're talking to you, because smallmouths, and we're on a Great Lake. So I assume you're just catching 25 to 30 pounds of smallmouths a day at will.
Yesterday was good. Today wasn't so good. I think we're in a little transition period. You know, I think the fish are moving off. They're post-spawn for the most part, and because of that, they're kind of scattered. I don't think they're in their summer haunts yet.
Sure.
And I mean, the weights are going to be good from what I've seen. They'll be, you know, I think 16 and a half a day to get paid, and, and better than that. You know, I think you'd need probably 18 to make the cut. But it's not easy to get a bite. They're not everywhere. When you get a bite, usually you can kind of work around and get a couple of fish. But for me right now, there's a lot of dead water. A lot of dead water. Okay.
I assume you've been checking out St. Clair the last 2 days. Have you looked at the rivers at all? Whether it's St. Clair, Detroit?
I've been in the St. Clair, didn't really fish it, just looked at a couple of things, didn't like what I saw. I'm pretty much committing to the lake. I want to stay around here because I'm on baby call.
That's
so
right.
If my wife calls me and says, hey, I'm in labor, I'm heading home.
Back quick.
I kind of ruled out a lot of long distance runs, and I'm trying to stick around home base here.
Understandably so. You mentioned before we started this interview that you've peeked around for some largemouths, which before this tournament was even a thing, there were rumblings that, I mean, yeah, you can absolutely catch largemouths here. Some guys might even do it, and you could probably get a check doing it. What's your thought on the largemouth bite so far?
It's phenomenal. It's a great fishery. I don't know that you can. I'm sure you can cash a check doing it. I don't know how easy it would be to do it, but I know I've spent a half hour both practice days doing it, and I've caught probably 25. I've had 7 or 8 keepers, but nothing over 2.5 pounds. So it's for me, it's not going to be a player. Somebody that commits to it, I'm sure will be able to do well doing it, but it's not for me.
Okay. Well, looking at the front of your boat over there, you got a pile of rods on there, and I know some of that's because we're in practice, but you kind of got the whole gauntlet in there. And do you think we will see that pan out this week because of, like you're saying, we're just in that transition time, so you could catch some shallow, you could catch them deep, cranking, jerkbait, tube, like all that stuff will play?
Yeah, it's going to be, you can fish your strengths. You really can. I mean, it's more about finding the fish. Once you find them, I think you can get them to bite a lot of different things. I mean, I've done everything from ultra finesse, you know, tiny micro baits, to power fishing with big stuff that, you know, would be considered small musky baits, and I've caught fish on all of it. So it's really going to be, you get to fish your strengths. It's just going to be about finding the right group of fish that have better than average size.
Well, I know you know, you're not a St. Clair local guy. You're a Michigan guy, Wisconsin smallmouth guy. Because of that, I want your take on the mayflies as they pelt me in the face while we're talking. What do you think this will do to the bite? Help it, hinder it? No opinion?
In my experience, the mayfly hatch is usually made fishing tougher. You know, I know, as we were talking about earlier, there are guys around here that say it actually makes the bite really good. And there's some lakes back home where the bite is supposedly better with it, but in my experience, it usually is tougher. The fish just have a lot more to eat and don't necessarily need to search down my bait. So I would prefer not to be seeing this. So it doesn't necessarily make me happy, and they're kind of a pain in the butt when you're running around getting clobbered in the face with it. So I would prefer not to see it.
All right, final thing, give the folks watching a few pundit picks of your own. They can look them up if they are members, so you can check it out on Fantasy Fishing, but maybe a few picks you think the people should put on their fantasy team this week.
I think my team, if I recall, is pretty much all northern guys. I think I've got every Canadian in the field. There's just a lot of experience there. Those guys know what they're doing. The Johnston brothers are great. I think they only live 4 or 5 hours away.
Yeah, they're relatively close.
I don't know if they've got a ton of experience on St. Clair, but they're just smallmouth hammers.
Corey told me today while I rode around with him that he's fished 2 tournaments here and he's top 10 both times. So
sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds normal.
Put them on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got those guys. I mean, I think that's what you're looking for. You know, Dobson, a local. I mean, he's a hammer out here, and yeah, I would stay with some of the northern smallmouth guys. I think they're going to do well.
Well, and I bet you'll do well, assuming you get to stay and hang out and fish for a few days. But if not, I mean, either way, it's a win-win for you. So things are happening this week.
Yep.
And I mean, who knows? Maybe you cash a check and you have a kid. Best case scenario.
Okay, that would be great. I just don't want to miss both. The worst would be if I get the call and I'm on my way home and I find out I miss, and then I can't get back in time for the full tournament. Because if you miss one day here, you're going to be at the bottom of the pack.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, fingers crossed for you. Good luck, Matt.
Thank you.